In the education system, surviving teaching with no encouragement is considered especially heinous. In the charter school, the dedicated teachers who serve students without receiving breaks, encouragement, or dignity are members of an elite squad known as the Southern Teacher Residency. These are their stories. Emma is a brand new teacher beginning her career at the charter school in one of the most economically devastated zip codes in the United States. Emma is part of a faith-based alternative teacher licensure program called the Southern Teacher Residency, or STR. Despite her lack of experience, Emma is thrilled to be a new teacher. This naivety could be a benefit or barrier. We don't yet know. As a part of STR, Emma serves as a resident teacher and will work as a co-teacher for an entire year in the class of a veteran teacher. The veteran teacher serves as her mentor and is named Cameron. Emma and Cameron teach sixth grade reading together.
So I did it. I'm in a teacher prep program that focused on high-need schools called Southern Teacher Residency. It's like Teach for America with a little bit of a different model. But I think that there's a sense of calling that a lot of teachers feel when they go into high-need schools. I think there's a sense of righteousness or duty and this, I don't know, it's really multi-layer. I think that there's I'm having a hard time phrasing it because there's good things, there's bad things. We have been talking about students are hurt when teachers keep leaving the classroom, and so when teachers leave mid-year, it really hurts kids. The school I'm at, I think my group of kids had 3 different teachers teaching math last year. I feel like this just reinforced the narrative for them, we are bad. We can get teachers to leave, or we are so bad that teachers leave us. It didn't create a positive narrative for them. So I think that I'm learning that the best thing you can do is keep showing up. I know I don't want to let the kids down. In my case, I feel a sense of calling to the classroom and to working towards educational equality. I feel like this is a Christian duty. And I think that equality is an important part of my faith, and so pursuing equality feels important. However, I think on the other side of that, there's a danger of becoming this white Jesus who thinks they're saving or doing something good for kids. You know, I grew up Christian and I wanted to be a missionary, and then I realized that there was a lot of injustice, and that I believe the love of God looks like righting wrongs in the world. And so I want to be a part of that work of correcting educational inequality. God's love is shown through making things in the world, right? I plan to pray for my students every day, and I will pray for myself and other educators. Of course, definitely the students I love. I think if I'm being honest, I came into education for the content because I'm such a nerd and I love reading so much. But now that I work with kids, I do love them so much, and seeing them engage with material and learning and watching their brains literally grow. There's just nothing like it when they master something. And yeah, it makes it so fun, and especially the rewarding parts when students feel comfortable with you and start opening up to you about their personal lives. I really lucked out coming to STR, and I really clicked personally and professionally with my mentor teacher, which is just such a blessing. And she is really teaching me everything I know. And then I credit Sally as my second mentor because she's also raising me through teaching. I am blessed to have strong-willed, empowered women raising me through the world of education. My mentors have checked in on me as a human and invested in me. But also, they both make these really intense lessons and just force me to become better since they're both so up here. I think sometimes they're just throwing me to the wolves. But that is baptism by fire, right?
It is now December. The shine of teaching has worn away. Emma is beginning to question whether she wants to stay in education forever. Emma is struggling and sorting things out. She loves education, but is questioning her place in it.
I get it. We're all humans, so we definitely all make mistakes. My grandpa just passed away. I just have a lot going on. I love my mentor, but sometimes she can't. She's just not the most sensitive person.
So you came to me without any education training, and you need guidance.
I know, I bombed the lesson today.
You're right. That was horrible. What's going on?
If I'm being honest, I'm not in a good place. My grandpa just died, and I'm really struggling. I can't always pull it together and be on for students.
Okay, but the things you did were wrong. The things are not okay. I know that you're not okay, but you need to be accountable. Granger, we want to be reflective practitioners as teachers. It's easy to be biased reflective practitioners, I think. And so, having another person in the room like me is helpful to your practice. Today, your questioning was off. Who did most of the work in that lesson? You did all the work in that lesson. The kids did nothing.
Cameron, I'm just triggered by the constant observation from you and from STR. I feel like I always have a critical eye on me. I know saying this feels dramatic is dramatic, but that's how it feels. All of this is hard for me to get over, and I know it's a good thing, but I absolutely hate it.
It is dramatic. You need to leave home at home when you are at work.
I feel like I'm getting beat down every single day because we're our own biggest critics. We see all the things that are going wrong. Okay, I get it. You don't need to put any more pressure on me. I just feel very, very beat down, very depleted. Interestingly, I just received this letter from Cameron. She really has pushed me this year. I have to remember she is human too and makes mistakes. Ultimately, I love her. I just wish she was always this sensitive. Dear Granger, mentoring you has probably been my favorite thing I've done professionally. I'm so grateful to have you as a co-teacher. You really are a gifted teacher. You didn't come in with any educational training, but you're so naturally gifted. You have a great raw material to tweak rather than having to build a teacher out of scratch. I personally enjoy working with you because I feel like it has given me a way to look at my own teaching. So it has made me better. I value our relationship so much, and getting to help another adult grow professionally really gives me life. I feel like this has been the most I've grown as a teacher. Take time for some self-care over break. Freeman. I feel like my life is falling apart. Teaching is taking a toll on my relationships, and it's not worth it to me. I want to be a human first before any type of career. I have no energy to put into relationships. I come home from school and just isolate myself. It's been weeks since I've talked to my family or friends. I just don't have any mental capacity.
Can you talk to your friends? I know they're going through the same stuff with STR.
Cameron, my social circle is non-existent. I'd love to go to therapy, but I don't even have time to do basic things like go to the doctor, go to the dentist, take care of myself in any way because there's such a pressure to be here, to be on. You take a day off from school, I think there's a lot of shame that is perpetuated that I don't agree with.
And yeah, I don't know. It really is an all-consuming career. What is most important to me is to be a human first, no matter what job I'm in. I will never put my work before my personal life. That is something I feel really passionately about. And I think I've learned not to part with that through teaching. A really shitty way to learn this.
Honestly, I just feel so hopeless. I'm really struggling. I'm sorting that out. I think I love education, and I think I want to stay in education. But the reality is, I am struggling with burnout and struggling with finding effective strategies to maintain sanity and student dignity in the classroom.
I get that. The only thing I can find to turn off after work is drinking. I've definitely started to drink more during my time at school. Not like in a scary way, just like I need to relax and need aid in doing so. I've started to notice on breaks and on weekends, I feel like a very intense pressure to have fun. And like I have to squeeze fun and like good times out of the corners of my life. I feel like I'm running a marathon to spring break, and spring break is over a month away.
Yes, I feel like I'm sacrificing my healthy life for the good of students. My mental health is deteriorating. I'm not in a place to do good work. Sometimes I wonder if I can do this job and have a relationship. What if I want a boyfriend or want to get married? When I get home, I totally disassociate, and no one wants to be in a relationship with someone like that. Eventually, I want to become a mom, and I don't think I could do this job as a mother.
It's hard. I'm also becoming just disillusioned with charter schools in general, of the expectations, the prison feel. The white teachers, the black kids. I think I'm to a point where I don't think this system is redeemable. That sounds dark, but it's how I feel. I need a place to feel human.
That. I counted all the texts from 6th grade to 12th grade, and there was, I believe, 2 primary texts that were authors of color. And they weren't books. They were like speeches or something.
Granger, I know. That is super problematic to me. And I met with people at the school to try to express that, and I was told a number of things. I understand the desire to teach kids things that are canon, but I think there's a way to hold both, of reflecting students in text and holding to the canon, which is obviously problematic. I expressed it to everybody that I thought it was problematic. And ultimately I did feel listened to and heard, but I felt ultimately that the school went with the choice that they went with. So I felt like my voice was heard, but that it wasn't. Like you can feel heard and valued without being agreed with. And so, but ultimately that was a big enough issue to me that it was like, I'm not going to feel comfortable teaching kids this stuff. It's all white people. And that is a problem. Is there anything you're doing that is actually healthy to cope with all of this?
It depends on the week or the season, but my constants are always physical exercise is very important to me. Just my introvert time, like my prayer time is very important to me. I think those are my 3 constants.
I'm glad you have that. You need to prioritize you as a person to be a better, more competent teacher. I'm devastated. I received this note from Mia today. It really reinforces the strategies I'm supposed to use. Do not focus on student dignity, and instead focus on seeking control. Mia has been a wake-up call. I've been focused on student compliance and not student dignity. Ultimately, it's undignified to an adult to not be dignified to a student. And so I think that when that relationship is based on power, it ultimately erodes the dignity of both parties. I'm ashamed I treated her this way. It's just, I was feeling like I was under an avalanche of work and feedback and expectation, and so this feeling of kind of like doggy paddling to keep my head above water, and then like a student's behavior became such a big moment. But really, I was carrying like a mountain of stress on my shoulders, and then something that might not have needed to be a big experience became a big experience. If I'm honest, I don't like Mia. And I didn't think she liked me. All she did was throw a paper ball at me, and I made it very adversarial. I know that I reacted poorly. Miss Freeman, I wanted to let you know that you really hurt my feelings. I also want to apologize for throwing that paper ball at you. I know it was wrong, and if someone did that to me, I would go off. But I don't understand why you sent me out of the room just because I slammed my binder. I was at a level 10 of stress, and I just needed a moment. I felt like you disrespected me by calling me out in front of the whole class. For me, yelling just turns up my stress. When you yelled, it set me off. I know it was wrong to throw a paper ball at you, but I just couldn't control my stress, and I felt disrespected. I have regrets, and I'm sure you do too. Sincerely, Mia.
It's felt very, not even, I don't think burdening is the correct word, but over these past couple of months, it's almost to the point where it's completely soul-sucking to me. Just a sense of dread I feel coming into the building. I know I'm a good teacher, but I think what I'm in right now is not sustainable for the long term of my mental health, my physical health, or even my personal life. I finally started going to therapy, which has been very helpful to me, to verbally process with someone, and we don't even necessarily talk about school a lot, but just to think that secondhand trauma, it brings up my own trauma experiences, and so going to therapy and talking through those has been very helpful. Therapy has helped me realize that I know deep in my soul that my time is done. I think teaching for years isn't sustainable. I'm so burnt out by it. It's not really the kids, they're kids. I expect them to be children. I expect them to come to me with things. But I really do feel as though it's more of the external pressures that are placed on me. It's just that constant feeling of not being trusted. There's always the assumption that you did something wrong when something happens in the classroom or outside of it. I feel like over the time I've been here, I've proven myself trustworthy. And so I think that is what really depletes teachers, is the lack of trust, the lack of just appreciation, right? So instead of that constant questioning, so that's what I mean by soul sucking. It's just that constant burden of the pressure in that you're never doing enough. You're always messing up. I don't need anyone to tell me that. I'm well aware, you know? You know, this is cheesy, but there's this Taylor Swift song called It's Time to Go. And literally just, I think it says it so well. I don't really have the words for it, but I just know deep in my soul it's time for me to go. What is sad that I've never felt so valued as when I said I'm not returning. Now everyone wants to praise me and tell me I'm a good teacher. Where was that months ago? If you're constantly going to put me down and throw me under the bus, then no. You don't deserve me and value me. I just feel like nobody is supporting me. And I really feel like they're out to get me, and just the lack of trust in that has been very harmful. Because then I work double time because I hate feeling incompetent. I hate feeling like I'm failing or doing a bad job. And so I feel like I'm working double time to try to even that trust back.
I do think that a lack of encouragement is a huge contributing factor to teacher burnout and why so many teachers are fleeing. Because I have so many roommates who come home crying every day because their bosses are so mean to them and they're always doing something wrong. And it's just never good enough. And yeah, I'm so overwhelmingly grateful for the experience I've had and the people I've worked with, even as hard as it has been. They have been, for the most part, so kind and uplifting. That's something I'm really feeling passionately about. Teachers need to be encouraged and affirmed. We don't need more feedback. We need just like, you're doing the best that you can, and that's good. When we are just treating people like humans, like students, adults, like when we get to have like rigorous debate between teachers, like when we are humans outside the class, when we have that mentoring relationship, when we have things that edify us and push us. When the teachers feel that way, they treat students more that way, and the students feel more human and flourish. So I think that just that, like a goal of teacher flourishing, often leads to student flourishing. And when I say flourishing, I mean like the Aristotle way, like the whole, holistically. That's not happening for me. So I need to leave. So that's just my little finale. That's my thesis statement.
When it's time